All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is March 25th, 2025. I hope you're having a wonderful 2025, and we have a very interesting day ahead of us. Not only was yesterday all about tariffs and whether or not Donald Trump was going to be walking them back, but pretty much after hours, everybody spent the whole day discussing these new tariffs and what they mean. You don't really have much coming into today, but it's still this general vibe of what is going to happen on Liberation Day. Did we get over the max risk? What are these new tools going to do? And what else are we going to hear from Donald Trump? So we have earnings and a couple of other data points, and there's some things going on with buybacks in the quarter end, but when it's all said and done, we are still preparing for this trade war and ultimately Liberation Day. So we have a lot to go over. I have the news, all that good stuff. I think we're going to be hearing from a couple of people today, but other than that, it should be a fun 7 hours. So Charadonia. Good morning. How are you, baby? Welcome to Toast Day. Tim Whitman, Yule, Chris Saeed, Tim Brown, Kurt McGard, Anzo, Laker, Jay. Good morning, baby. What up, Anzo? What up, Ivy? How you doing, Michael? What's going on, Minacho? Gus Gazo, Eloy, Crystal, Anzel, Tyree, Ronald, Dos Nacho, Jennifer, Mark, Kodak, Bean Royd, Annihilator, Sean Moose, baby. What's going on? How you living, C-Rod? What up, Mr. Silverio? Soccer Club, Visionary, Minacho, Joey Kakamo, Lori, Jordy, NRG, baby. What's going on? How we living, Passion? What's going on, Jeff? Good morning, yee. Oh, my goodness. What up, Trey? What up, Colt 45? Brown Tom Crows, baby. Phil Robo, JM. Good morning. What about the Twitch? Razzle Dazzle. Eli Saint, Stock Sasquatch, Epic Eric, Rujic, Blowing Dough, Iron Beagle, Roach Vince, Danny V, Torch Soldier, The Mercator, Blazing Bob, Blowing Dough, Robo Hand Tech, and Pie Guy. Good morning, baby. So Chatadonia. I hope you're ready. It should be an interesting one. Again, I think it's going to be a like yesterday, but with less hype out of the trade stuff. But then again, you never know. You never know. So that being said, here is Josh AI with the news. Good morning. U.S. stock futures stall on Trump's new tariff salvo. U.S. stock futures faltered after Wall Street's brief rally, sapped by President Donald Trump's latest tariff threats and the likelihood of fewer interest rate cuts than currently priced dot-end contracts on the NASDAQ 100 rose less than 0.1%, while those on the S&P 500 gained a similar amount, steadying after what was one of the best days for the U.S. stock market this year. In pre-market trading, Tesla Inc. whipsawed after a 13-day winning streak, its longest this year, as data showed fresh sales declines in Europe. Mobileye Global Inc. added 9% after a deal on driver assistance technology with Volkswagen Group. Markets have been unnerved by a fresh tariff salvo from Trump, who threatened a 25% levy on any nation purchasing crude from Venezuela. Brent crude rose 0.5%, adding to Monday's gain. The oil price rise fueled a rally in the shares of European oil majors, including Shell plc, BP plc, and Total Energies SE, lifting the stock 600 index by 0.8%. Trump also said he will announce tariffs on automobile imports in the coming days and indicated nations will receive breaks from next week's reciprocal tariffs, further adding to confusion about the plan for sweeping levies to kick in on April 2nd. Between now and the 2nd of April, it's just a phase of wait and see, said Michael Nizzard, head of multi-asset at Edmund de Rothschild Asset Management. If Trump is doing exactly what he's saying in terms of reciprocal tariffs, it should be negative both for Wall Street and Main Street. Investors also remain unclear on how tariffs might impact inflation and economic growth, with most recent data hinting at softer economic momentum alongside still elevated price pressures, while swaps still price the Federal Federal Reserve to cut rates twice this year. Atlanta Fed Chief Raphael Bostic said Tuesday he sees just one 25 basis point reduction due to very bumpy inflation. Treasury yields rose about 3 basis points, while Bloomberg's dollar index slipped after 4 days of gains. Gold prices rose 0.4%, comma holding just off recent record highs, and investors will now watch out for U.S. consumer confidence data, which is expected to have eased slightly in March from the previous month. Meanwhile, Turkish markets continued to stabilize after a rout fueled by the arrest of a key opposition leader. Stocks rose as much as 5.5%, and the lira currency was steady after a series of emergency measures helped calm markets. Top economic officials are due to speak with foreign investors later on Tuesday. Trump says auto tariff coming, teases reciprocal duty breaks. President Donald Trump said he will announce tariffs on automobile imports in the coming days and indicated nations will receive breaks from next week's reciprocal tariffs. Trump's comments at the White House Monday sowed further confusion about his plans for a sweeping tariff announcement scheduled for April 2nd. The president told reporters he planned to proceed with long-threatened auto import tariffs fairly soon over the next few days ahead of the broader package. Trump said his tariff rollout next Wednesday would focus on so-called reciprocal duties, featuring rates on a country-by-country basis corresponding to tariffs and other trade barriers on U.S. products. The president twice on Monday signaled trading partners would receive possible exemptions or reductions. European gas eases as traders await outcome of U.S.-Russia talks. European natural gas prices eased as traders await results of talks between U.S. and Russian officials in Saudi Arabia, which lasted for about 12 hours. Benchmark futures fell as much as 1.8% after posting a marginal gain the previous day. The two sides were expected to release a statement on Tuesday. Russia's TASS news service reported officials discussed the safety of navigation in the Black Sea. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters Monday gas traders are monitoring steps toward a ceasefire pushed by U.S. President Donald Trump amid speculation that a truce could lead to the return of some Russian gas to Europe. Chinese tech stocks near correction in sharp sentiment reversal. Chinese technology stocks fell from a 3-year high to the brink of a correction in just 5 sessions, fueled by a lack of positive surprise in earnings and Xiaomi Corp's jumbo share sale. The Hang Seng Tech Index dropped 3.8% on Tuesday, extending its slide from a March 18th high to nearly 10%. Xiaomi, which raised $5.5 billion in an upsized placement, closed down 6.3%. Alibaba Group Holding Limited fell nearly 4%. Following its chairman's warning on a potential bubble forming in data center construction, a world-beating rally in Chinese tech stocks is rapidly cooling as the initial shock and awe from DeepSeek's AI model wanes, with investors demanding more real-life applications before bidding up shares further. While the nation's tech earnings mostly topped estimates or came in line in the just-concluded reporting season, such expectations were already baked in. Top overnight news: a Trump administration proposal to impose stiff levies on Chinese-made ships entering U.S. ports is sowing panic in the country's agriculture industry, with farmers saying the added cost threatens to upend exports of wheat, corn, and soybeans. The U.S. Trade Representative has recommended imposing fees of up to $1, 5 mm per prot call on ships built in China or operated by companies with Chinese-built vessels, and hearings on the matter are scheduled for this week. FT Treasury Secretary Bessent said interest rates are going to keep declining as energy costs decline, and noted that laid-off workers can go into the private sector. Ukraine unconditionally supports the idea of a full ceasefire with Russia. Kiev's ambassador to the U.S., Oksana Markarova, said BBG Tech chiefs and senior foreign officials are urged to reconsider its AI diffusion rule that limits AI chip exports before the deadline for compliance arrives in less than 2 months. BBG, IFO's German business optimism gauge, rose more than expected to the highest level since June 2024 as the government readied hundreds of billions of euros of spending. BBG, China could broaden its consumer services stimulus plan to include services such as travel and tourism, in addition to goods if the economy stays sluggish. FT, India is open to cutting tariffs on more than half of U.S. imports worth $23 billion in the first phase of a trade deal the two nations are negotiating, two government sources said. The biggest cut in years aimed at fending off reciprocal tariffs, RTRS. Alibaba's Joe Tsai warned of a potential bubble in data center construction, arguing that the build-out pace may outstrip initial demand for AI services. Tsai singled out U.S. spending in particular.
Donald Trump crypto news.
Tesla shares reverse pre-market losses even as its European car sales plummeted 40% in February, marking the 10th drop in the past year. The figures contrast with a 31% rise in industry-wide EV registrations. BBG,
and then Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial crypto venture says they will launch dollar peg stablecoin. Yes. A stable coin. I know, yeah, very early, very, very early. So that's it. Now you'll have Tether, and then you'll have Trump.
It'll be like a Trump stable coin, like Tether, like the dollar, the currency.
That being said, my friends, we have more. You guys said you all heard it before. I guess not. We'll see. S&P futures, they're up by 0.2 Tuesday morning, comes after a big broad-based rally in U.S. equities on Monday that saw all of the major indexes up over 1.5, and the S&P pushed above its 200-day moving average, and nearly 85% of the index was up on the session. High short interest, Mag 7, crowded longs, momentum, memes, and select cyclicals. Among the standouts, Treasuries weaker with yields up 2 to 3 basis points. Dollar index is up by 0.1, gold is up by 0.4, and Bitcoin futures down by 1.1. Crude is up by 0.5. Very quiet from a headline perspective, following an outsized Monday rally on the back of hopes for a more limited action on tariffs. Upside also chalked to firmer flash composite PMI and cleaner positioning. However, still a lot of skepticism about April 2nd as a clearing event, given the volatility surrounding tariff headlines and tariffs as Trump's preferred policy tool. Fits with the Tuesday morning Financial Times article about White House consideration of a two-step process. In addition, tariffs continue to be seen as a risk to consensus estimates for Q1 in 25, while Trump 2.0 uncertainty continues to be flagged by corporates and consumers. Monday bounce also came on low volume. Conference Board of Consumer Confidence, Richmond Fed manufacturing and new home sales on the U.S. economic calendar this morning. Fed Governor Kugler said recent goods inflation unhelpful and impacts expectations. Noted recent economic data shows weakness. New York Fed Williams, set to speak later, follows hawkish-leaning comments from Bostic on Monday, who said now he only sees one rate cut this year. In addition, Treasury selling $69 billion of 2-year notes ahead of the $70 billion 5-year notes on Wednesday and $44 billion in 7 on Thursday. And then remind me about Kugler. Shame on her. Her speech today was terrible. In Washington, Bessent, Hassett, and Thune and Johnson scheduled to meet to discuss GOP tax bill strategy. Comes amid a report of continued disagreements between House and Senate leadership. Commerce Secretary Letnick and USTR Greer also meeting with EU Trade Commissioner today, with the market particularly interested in any color on auto trade. Tesla EU sales fell sharply for the second straight month in February. BABA chairman warned of a bubble in AI data center build-out. Boeing reportedly seeking to withdraw agreement to plead guilty in criminal case related to 737 MAX crashes. CETA scrap talks to acquire UNF, noting that while it still believes in strategic merits of a deal, unable to secure meaningful engagement with Target on transactional terms. CCI announced termination of CEO Stephen Moskowitz following recent asset sale and reaffirmed guide. MKC missed with consumer segment a drag. SFD, EPS ahead, and dividend announcement a bright spot. KB Homes fiscal Q1 results guided down pretty much across the board for full year 25. Noted customers dealing with affordability concerns and macro and geopolitical uncertainties. Wow. There's more. Trump auto tariffs are on the way, but not all levies will be imposed on April 2nd. Global trade war erupts as proliferating tariffs engulfing U.S., China, and partners draws parallels to 1930 protectionist spiral. Chair of White House Council of Economic Advisors does not anticipate material short-term pain from tariffs. Senior foreign official and major tech companies pushing Trump admin to rethink AI chip curbs. Trump's wielding of secondary tariffs seen as an extension of his toolkit to achieve foreign and domestic policy goals. EU intensifies efforts to prevent trade clash with Trump ahead of upcoming tariffs. India opened a tariff cuts on $23 billion of U.S. imports amid trade deal negotiations. Trump's proposed levies on China ships spark panic in U.S. agriculture sector, threaten maritime industry. Canadian boycotts U.S. travel over Trump border tactics, causing a rival decline. Atlanta Fed Bostic sees only one rate cut this year with inflation sideways. Bank of Japan Governor Ueda says slow tapering of bond purchases to keep yields low. Bank of Japan minutes reveal policymakers discuss future rate hikes post-decision. ECB Asivera says more downside risk to Eurozone outlook than upside. Bank of England eases stress test scenarios, opts for smaller inflation, milder global economic slowdown than last year. January Bank of Japan meeting minutes shows divergence on rate guidance. China weighs extending subsidy program to service industry in bid to stimulate consumption. PBOC further dilutes significance of MLF as an instrument to guide monetary policy. Some China steel mills pledge to reduce output with steel futures at 6 months low. China labor-intensive manufacturing fading as millions of jobs could be lost with repercussions of stability and growth. China implementing annual budget at slowest pace since 2022 as it eyes fiscal buffer against trade headwinds. Leaked U.S. messages cause fear and alarm across Europe, may spur continent into action. Israel draws up plans for longer-term occupation of Gaza and bid to extinguish Hamas. Ukraine backs idea of full ceasefire with Russia following earlier talks with U.S. officials. Trump pushes U.S. claims to Greenland as territory leaders lambast U.S. delegation trip. Turkey's government attempts to calm markets since the detention of a key opposition figure last week. Far-right AFD takes center stage as new German Bundestag convenes amid economic and diplomatic challenges. Tesla market share in Europe declines as sales drop for a second consecutive month. Alibaba chairman warns of potential bubble in AI data center build-out. Boeing pushes to withdraw guilty plea over 737. DeepSeek releases updates to V3 model that promises to deliver better programming capabilities. China AI startups overhauling business models in bid to remain competitive amid DeepSeek's success. Meta to introduce $14 monthly fee for ad-free Instagram and Facebook in the UK. India to eliminate $6 tax on digital advertisements, easing U.S. tech giant concerns. Shell said it will expand LNG sales by 4 to 5% annually until 2030. U.S. job applications surge from workers at Doge-targeted agencies following vast layoffs. U.S. economic data shows clear signs of looming recession despite moderating growth. BFJ Tankin manufacturer sentiment been following moderately. German business sentiment rises in March after debt reforms. European car sales plummet as economic uncertainty and trade tension take hold. Australia government announces unexpected tax cut in energy, rebates, and pre-election budget. Retail investor inflows to U.S. equities remain strong at $67 billion in 2025. China tech nears correction with company announcements weighing on sentiment, valuations nearing 3-year average. Indonesian rupiah falls to financial crisis levels as asset sell-off deepens. Southeast Asian markets seeing heavy foreign outflows at Q1 amid tariffs and China rally. Hegseth disputes textwood war plans to journalists. GOP defends Waltz after plans of group chat leak. Sources say Social Security rushing service cuts at White House request. And 2 of the largest teachers union sue Trump admin for moving to abolish the Department of Education. Wow, Habibi, this is so much, so many a headline. Wow, now I have the moving a pre-market. Wow, Mobileye. They're up by 13. Volkswagen collaboration for self-driving assist. Net up 5.6. Bank of America upgrades to buy from underperform. Carvana is up by 5.5. Morgan Stanley upgrade. Illumina up 2.6 to appoint Corvex management. Keith Meister to the board. Crowd up 1.9. BTIG upgrade. Capital One is up by 1.6. BTIG upgrade. IP up 1.3. Investor Day full year outlook and long-term targets. DJT is up 10. Announces intention to partner with Crypto.com to launch ETFs. CDLR is up by 6 off earnings. Rumble up 3.9 to report earnings. AXSM up 3.7. Focus phase 3 trial with adults with ADHD achieves primary endpoint. SRRK up 3.4. FDA grants priority review, accepts MMAA for apitegromab. Lunar is up by 3 off nothing. SFD is up 2.4 off earnings. SBGI 1.8 insider buy. ALMS up 17 licensing agreement in dermatology in Japan. FFAI up 13 secures new funding. PSIX up 12.3 off earnings. ANIX up 6.2 letter of intent with Verity Solutions. McKesson trading down 3.5 off earnings. AEP down 2.1 common stock offering. CCI down 2 CEO terminated and reaffirms guidance. KB Homes down 6.8 earnings and Robert Diller joins as EVP and CFO. Oklo down 6 off earnings. CNM down 5.7 earnings. Mark Witkowski to succeed Steve LeClaire as CEO. Pony down 1.7 off earnings. Mira down 47 to cease development of Nemaluvakin. Prop down 25 commences 35 million common stock offering. NFGC down 11 reports initial mineral estimates. Viat down 5.5 off earnings. CRMD down 4.5 off earnings. And Chinese ADRs all trading lower. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Amen. So, Chatadonia, I hope you're feeling good. I hope you are feeling blessed. That was a lot of headlines. So we'll see. Again, it's just a long hangover and extension of everything we dealt with yesterday with the tariffs. But beyond the tariffs, beyond the headlines, you know what we do here, baby. It's very important. Here at the Cult, before we do anything, before we try to chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I'm talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of the Cult, I want to give a huge special shout out. Active servicemen, past servicemen, anybody who has served this country, even the families. Thank you for giving up so much for our freedom. And if you have not served this country and you are sitting here and every day you take it for granted, I hope that you could bring this culture to real life. I hope you could give a thank you. And I hope every time you have the opportunity, you could show this love and genuine appreciation to those who have given up everything for our freedom. So veterans, the families, thank you for everything you have given, for real. God bless you all. If anybody should get a long term in a crib, it should be you, baby. So let's get it. God bless you all. And big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to their local communities. All the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, anybody making their community run. God bless you and thank you, baby. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Oh. Oh, it's game time, baby. Oh, no, let's go. Oh, yeah, it's game time. It's Tuesday, bro. It's only Tuesday. The quarter is about to end. We've almost had 100 days of Trump. Oh, my goodness. It's still dark outside. I don't know if they feel me, bro. So, Chatadonia, good morning. I hope you're ready for it. We got a decent amount of time, actually. We got about 8 minutes till the bell. I thought we were running behind, so we got that good. Turkey court arrest AFP photographer after protest. And Canada ministers are in touch with Trump team on tariffs, says the Prime Minister. Wow. So that's all coming out now. But, Chatadonia, I got a couple of plays. We'll go over them in a second. It's time to move on over. I will see you guys in Gen Pop. Yeah, no sun on the West Coast. No. I don't have any sun. No sunlight today. Not for now. It'll be beautiful, though. God willing. God willing, baby. God willing. So, that being said, I will see you there. God bless America. And good morning, baby. Good morning. I love you. Oh, wait. I didn't turn on the wire. Oh, I got to turn on the wire. Oh, my gosh. Okay, yeah. I'll do it when I come back. Oh, no, we don't even need it anymore. What am I saying? Yeah, I'll bring it out later. Okay, I love you. Bye. Bye.